tactically denatured relationships to nature everywhere, self-value. I mean, or blaming on the cause of it on other things, others themselves. But treatments of money, value nature systems simultaneously incapable of defending that, not by accident, all victim predators. For what forgiveness is about, because incapable of defending that and standing correlation nature simultaneously inherent active and progressive means. It's where we are value nature systems locked this way that we have to grapple with, not the concepts within it like wealth or they go elites. They don't even know the names of the elites because everyone's with convictions without forgiveness, blaming the wrong things, others themselves. I mean, where they don't see about how that shared policing. You can, look at the pathology of the zoning laws of the nature of the facade of businesses. What they agreed to share. This is in conjunction with they agree is acceptable for medications they're recorded using, and because then what is, in other words, for if there's a magician who does a trick, he's telling the truth, and he's going, well, look, this is the truth too. But he's attached. He's doing it like that's not against the law. I'm saying, but when the law is doing that originally and still, that was maintained to keep them needing to hide lie progressions tied to that, need to them to hide finite, active, inherent, progressive identity theft racket rules. See, now this is this is where they have alpha and the omega. Any identity of value, individual, grouped, or together, has a relationship to an identity of value progression perfect. In other words, the identity of a nature of volume that is filling through and of and as the value as the value of as its own expanding value through us. In other words, as temporary and or as lasting, positive or negative, forever nature, as what is a relationship to itself, which is in relationship to three natures of volume distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously at once. 3, 6, 9. The value of that. Value is coming from the right side of uh, value 10 at 10, value 1 at 10. Value is coming left to right from the left side of value 1 at 1 at the same time. And we are two natures of longing inside this nature of longing. That that is what is us as more positive value nature here, which per system other now. See, too long this one species has been lethal IDs as the value of Earth's value, with no criminal foreign influences, as the value of what has heart, as distinct from plants. You know, and, this is a course that we have obfuscated each science. Math is about how we are gaining nature or volume no matter what. Nature of value that way. This is smaller than the smallest thing and is bigger than the biggest thing. The complete identity that is inseparable from all others, each complete identity of value has a simultaneously a semi-nature relationship to the identity and to the identity of relationship to itself that inventions work or not in relationship to. Invisible but self it's still discernible. And as the value of that, which is also within as and how all that is in demonstration with it, where and how inventions could work or not, like nuclear weapons, like their delivery systems, like methods effectively having kept people separating issues that are inseparable, like each age of fact treatment nature trap, pseudo positive roles having blamed other things, others, and selves for the real cause of negative value nature progressions, having valued that only let realized. That realizes that even glorifies the forced fact treatment nature slavery of our founders. Their stolen identities, our American history stolen insidiously in our faces by who knows the most facts, using that to obfuscate the simple organized crime against as the fact treatment nature slavery of James Madison and of George Washington as ground. He did not chop down fake branches of government that were manifested as value in every nation because of how our nature of volume is a forced grouped relationship. Now, the ancients revealed this English working when they were still appreciating, in other words, a whole different sensibilities towards the value they were valuing, how it makes us more value by being but by discerning difference that is only physical, because this reveals even negative value nature reveals where wasn't positive all into everyone wasn't being revealed for. We're in value nature systems tactical ulterior from the one that causes positive or negative value nature progressions, specifically per organized crime method that knew that it could make the phenomenon of modern nations only having been capable of fathoming the causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures needed to be relied upon with only let realized naive convictions, personal and other, tied to the most critical things, boxings, and like Native American rights, like the value of their education, like the same thing in other nations at the same time. And this is where sequence is also related to how the value 1 at 10 and value 1 at 0 are simultaneously valued in relationship to the value that is gaining with this positive or negative onto itself. It is not only increasing the value of the increased value of and as itself, as each person, each thing at once, but is in relationship to this difference about Earth between its difference to the rest of the space nature. See, when we're negative value nature, we're forced away from here, lethal Hadid. Then we become negative value nature to positive value nature progression somewhere else. This is a scientific, not only saying scientific theory of ancients, this is recorded what happens when you don't value the order to the finite, the order to the value, to and as the value of our quality of fact treatment nature. Free speech, by the way, it's not free. And a progressive identity of volume, again, gaining, not just gaining. There are proofs that we are gaining nature of volume as forever nature. In other words, identity is a gaining nature of volume. that is positive and as three discernibly connected natures, semi-natures of a complete nature that is also a little bit before and beyond this, that gains more and more through what we are now as temporary slash lasting positive in relationship to the identity of positive, in relationship to the identity of all things at once. Bach sings, "You campus dunce, return the name. Campus Marcius calls you home to gain. We'll train." So we have each nation sickly distinctly forced to value a tactically denatured relationship to nature, which our species nature of volume will continue to demonstrate. For example, along with that, demonstrating the value of sciences, of the campuses, of its identity. And again, and really, this is science with the alpha and the omega. This is how logic works. The alphabet is a bonded identity of relationship to itself perfect, as 26 sounds revealed with an identity of relationship to themselves. Revealed to form exactly to teach this. How logic is the nature of, I'm not a doctor, not a police form, not a criminal. See, we have them recorded originally and still, quote, experts, unquote, on psychology with recorded offensive identity theft records, crime methods and natures, having done that, done that to be being maintained, needs to hide that. Nature's hiding it, so needing to hide their natures in relationship to what kept that needed in conjunction with and as the pseudo sophistication to and as the value of the states and areas of each modern nation at once. Four shared, individually grouped and together as what they can't fathom was is exploited, that knew that they're already a bonded value that way as standing criminal and citizen's natures, self-valued that way, self-exploited that way. Could fight against the name of some other nation, and they could fight against us here all day. But still, that those identities have nothing to do with anything but how those identities are in collusion and pretending to be against that, and how through misprision, criminality involved with this. Not lawyer, not police form, not criminal, not military. Thank God, vaccines. It tells us things because there's one nature of fighting that in other words, that is free speech. Free speech is means to reveal, and with simultaneously, inherently, actively, and progressive means. What is active, individual, grouped, and all together. This is an identity that was a value progression greater than temporary slash lasting space nature that it generated. One identity, a value progression perfect. This is most defensible and most practical. See, but not by accident we have most practical, not let equality of free speech in relationship to sensibilities recorded how maintain motivated to identity theft, crime acts, roles used to maintain all kinds of evidence reception rackets, database crime rackets, criminal uses of the identities of the ground, physically, water, the identities of those values, of their relationship to our value, to the value of our quality of fact treatment nature, body of value, fact treatment nature discernment. We have physical delusion, child abused, raised to politics. We have, again, each branch of government individually grouped and together, criminally foreign influence. The identities associated with that private and other, even the family members, because this is an identity ground. Each age of fact treatment nature simultaneously method. I already had this as the order of ourselves in relationship to what kept way worse than all the whale slaughter to put you make a oil lamp. They put a wick in the oil lamp, and the oil and the wick stays so the fire burns longer. Doesn't burn up the wick. It stays lit. They used to use the whale oil. They cultivated, they propagated everyone to roles, self-cultivated, blaming the roles of negative value nature progressions, acts, and nature's causes on other things others themselves. They did this to Native Americans before America was founded, before the births of our founders, before the births of their foreparents. This had already completed nations A through Z, their grounds, their relationship to negative value nature progressions, acts, and nature's real causes, valued, blamed on other things, others themselves. Now they knew since semi-ancient times that what values the nature of science is other than the course by why and how our nature of volume is that nature of volume as a simultaneous nature and demonstration to of us how we are with as value as a quality of diffusion as why and how we are value as a simultaneous nature slash s. So we have all means in to revelations instantaneous, but they're incompatible with the natures of value nature positions, with the natures of sensibilities to the defenses of reliance upon experts that are standing manifest identity together too. And then individually grouped and together all the natures of the roles on off all natures of campuses, interbranch, intercampuses of each age, each nature of campuses, each nature of database relationship. This is a completely a fact treatment nature organized crime ethic. Completely where the reason we are fact treatment nature has value the way we are exactly is in demonstration of this and how this is identity nature's course. This is math's course. What English is about. Not force, not absence of for. Not, this is about not physical bond hard, not soft, not weightless and alone. But that in demonstration of how we are gaining nature or volume. That is also gaining positive or negative relationship to itself in relationship to Earth's distinct, simultaneously distinct and non-distinct relationship to itself, which will only gain the volume of temporary slash lasting volume of positive forever nature that is also positive onto itself through this quality of diffusion as the value of our identity. So equality. That's what I'll do the next video on equality. Its value is about how we are gaining nature of volume and its identity of relationship to itself as the course wakes Santa's elf. Just one will respond. Seriously, who disbelieves? Connecticut is fake branches. Forgiveness is for this, and we can reveal this, and we can reveal who can't stand it because they've been too deep, whatever. But we can reveal instant means because these are means for elderly and stuff like that, not by accident. It's recorded how the value nature systems of stressed nations and value rate. Oh, that's war. That's what that relies them upon is either complete obliteration or the value nature systems they do have relationship to drugs, like involved with psychology, involved with how they keep either they've been using identity theft rackets, forging names, switching names, juxtapose overt gangs drugs roles with kids and with each age of fact nature and private drugs crimes roles. The same ones people involved with various natures of courts and their family members, all victims, but all victim predators. Not by accident, facilitated to this, to interest needs and roles with this, in relationship to their roles with the prisons and things, the intercampuses tied to them, tied to shared policing. This came since way before our founders' births. Nations forced grouped individually together, not realizing this was exploited. This was is exploiting how our nature is individually, is grouped, and it is together that we are. In other words, even the English language is grouped with, not just coupled with Latin, but it needs to be common sense, logic's actual course reveals it needs to be coupled with another nature of laws that can be used to demonstrate whether they're lying about sensibilities, whether they're just stealing people's identities because of that, and how already growing up, interbranch and evidence reception people originally and still were maintained as victim predators for a breaching method. There needs to keep that the causes of that they don't understand too, but they need to they understand they need to keep valuing the causes of it blamed on other things others themselves, like the KKK and like the Confederate flag. There's Justin Klavinskis. I never tried to contact him in my life. Recorded, confessed. I don't know if that was him on Facebook because they have fake Facebook pages to me pretending to be me and not. But they're also no, regardless who was him or not, they were also recorded, confessed, demonstrate how facilitated to such. And then roles with other predicate acts associated with and other natures, no, all natures of crime with military families. Their motivations with foreign and domestic military, juxtaposed with the interbranch, juxtaposed with what I described with the thing. Now, these are also a whole bunch of nations with conspiracy theories against people. So then they pretend we have conspiracy theories. So I'm speaking to you about this online. What they do is pretend I spoke about this to a professional people. But as people involved with child offenders proven further criminality with them. And these are also people associated, they've been using people when they hear the name FBI or they hear the name CIA, they think that has integrity. And that's integrity where that integrity is real. That integrity is real in relationship to unfathomable things. But then there are people here that are using every identity originally and still. In other words, they failed their obligations to explain, even let a free speech of American history actually what it's actually about. The organized crime method that used slavery, not prejudice. The organized crime is that is using it now, keeping what is intercampus's maintained method, having been fake care, her aggression. This is a method that just maintains all it needs the identity of each age of fact keeping nature's volume in relationship to the ground to stay forsaken, all pseudo positive, with markets positions in every modern nation as value nature systems tactically ulterior from the one that semi ancient organized crime facilitated everyone only capable of fathoming other as means through and in. Boxings begin. The species value nature longs its course. I'll drop the force, we blame not one, just force response. Boxings. The night and day I want. The volume fills. It fills and lifts in gifts or leaves, leaf of Hadith. Campus Marcius calls you home. Some bring the name. Call lost and found. It's time, return. It's time you train. Who play our game? This is what if I make an inflection in my voice, also it's almost 26 minutes. So maybe it's too long of a but I'll say what revealed English was a nature of sciences that was valued before human relations became tactically criminally re-engineered, affected to roles with it, self-valued by what is a species, fact cheating nature, organized crime, illness, like a health illness. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a police force, I'm not a criminal. Each of the sciences involved with this. This is Jesus Christ. There's a picture of Jesus Christ in art in like old art. That's on the Facebook page. It's on the Yale website of Yale College. I saw it, and it has Alpha drawn as the capital A, on the left side of the head of Jesus Christ, as English comes left to right, beginning with A. And W is on the right side of Jesus Christ. And this was associated with the Jesus Christ saying he is the Alpha, he is the Omega. And see now the W on the right side is Alpha and Omega bonded two V's, two victories, capital V's, which is temporary positive. But this is about the Trinity. This is about how we are gaining nature of volume. So it is also what is positive onto all three, because it's this is the nature of relationship to itself, which is an identity of relationship to itself, because nature is a trinity as a value nature relationship as values inside of value natures increasing volume, self generation of an as value. It is self generation simultaneously, distinctly onto and as Earth's value. And so when we don't, well, now that we're value nature systems, tactical totalitarian, from the one that causes more and more value nature progressions, acts in nature's and evolution, its fruits and its gifts, here, that's an identity of relationship to itself. The identity of value progression that generated all things. So is the identity that is simultaneously bigger than right to left and left to right bigger than, and overall up smaller than the smallest part of the deepest thing, Boxing, and bigger than the biggest thing, and bigger than all things together, and even grouped. That's the value to the order of each finite towards its body of value discernment, its course. That's why all bodies of life have this. Good means exists. Not only gain. Chain. Okay, so please subscribe to my YouTube channel. YouTube.com/user/Romulus Wall. My name is Anthony Wall. I call you all species, value, nature, train. That we can afford to reveal, to force free speech of equality of fact, human nature that reveals means that demonstrate all that formal is victim predator. So one might as well, the whole species nature of volume could afford way better and could afford to admit the commonly forced criminally from foreign influences, but not sourced by one, tactically denatured relationship to nature that is the problem here. We could admit we could simultaneously as a species build agree to even if we agree to just put temporary a place to house all everyone so there's no homelessness at once. In other words, all parks and places throughout the country, we're going to set up a path, a plan, like practice for a holiday for use the Santa Claus. You know what I'm saying? No, but anyway, we could to let it breathe. Then you bring lock it in. Then we put simultaneous means. Natures of then we have in other words that's one simultaneous means to nature or relief. See, whereas now we have natures of industries individually grouped in together. Everyone with bills not nonstop. Everyone with time, each position of time, trained, already having been long invested, you deal with this type of expert. Now, this is where and how originally and still a whole bunch of natures of liars were bonded by one method that maintained this filtered through and as a breaching screen, breaching tools and roles and needs and natures invested to and as quality of fact, cheap nature that could not stand free speech, freedom of religion, unabridged. They need to pretend other offensively, originally, and still as criminal and citizens' natures of positive, of that only let heard voice. The educational course that is needed for there's not money didn't fill our streets. Wherever streets areas were filled, as is it recorded and as is recorded being invested, blamed on other things, others themselves. That's why they have shootings in areas that repeated through time. I just remind. She mandates course. I'll drop the force. Boxings. It tells us things. So we have also how they keep the media simultaneously, distinctly, not distinctly, victims too, but victim predators in relationship to database roles, in relationship to the roles recorded with identity thefts, hiding lie progressions because they have effectively maintained each branch individually, grouped it together. Each individual of it, each group, even sex, age of each branch, type of type of expert of each branch, recorded effectively, maintain victim predators. They can't defend themselves. They failed. Our organized crime countering bodies who are in the furtherance of those same organized crime bodies, worse than they are in many ways. Praise. Many praise. So the means exist right now. We just need free speech. We need freedom of religion. We don't have it because we have offensive name forging and switching rackets. For example, that's some of the crime methods associated interbranch, private associated with them. When you switch your names and forge your names, switching sequences, they're doing this also with areas. Interbranch, they're doing this too. So they prevent ground counter to what is insidiously on off campuses overtly, but only overtly when you see how they're not when they're lying in the background to follow mandated course, or how they have been lying in, with the value of their convictions, with each value treatment in cases originally and still. For example, again, regarding how they fail to address how they juxtapose so many natures of criminal insidiousness involved with the organized crime method that our American history is actually about. I have to be a lawyer. They use lawyers, recorded, demonstrated how they use it even today. Some of this, grown from what can't defend itself, and as what can't defend itself, and its treatments of values, types of law treatments, types of fact treatment nature treatments, and us from what is keeping the branches needed to keep fake sides valued each age of fact treatment nature. All victims would need that to be for everyone else the same thing. The real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures bring to other things, acts like predicate acts, methods of it, natures of it, mass, originally and still. We think there's going to be a bubble. The New York game, train. We, I'm, we have who thinks they could do it better too. We will monetize that. We're going to start stacking means one way redeems because the whole species owns a science that is untapped as value, and is as one that heals. What is the problem with each problem they conceive? Inseparable, but they conceive separate. They call it the border issue. They're playing politics raised to roles simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly, breaching screens and tools and natures maintained methodically and capable of defending their natures and of standing simultaneously, correlation nature simultaneously inherent active and progressive means with sequence true. We have sequence shifts and identity theft roles, and we'll follow the sequence shifts. It's worse than the money. The money, all those interests, they say follow the money. That's why I don't know. They heard that a million times, not a million. Vaccines. See, it tells us things because time everywhere, each position they're using too fast, too slow to prevent forever nature's course, and this is not by accident. They developed everyone self-cultivated, self-valued laws. This is what divided, worse than divided, Native Americans from Native Americans. It forced everyone to defend fact treatment nature, evaluations of positive, and of evaluations of other. Is forcing them only to see theater each age. They're spreading lies with interbranch and with prison cliques associated with interbranch, intercampuses, through kids of the youngest age with overt criminal enterprises still here, not by accident, but even glorified, and with the locations next to Hartford Hospital, for example, with people associated with Fox Connecticut News, with identity thefts, the Crime Act's roles. They recorded, confessed, involved with people associated with WFSB, also recorded and confessed involved with crimes with people associated with the body dumping spot of Billy Grasso, the transition from Haka to Rico, their criminal uses of overt criminal enterprises like Los Solitos, their roles with this recorded with the Faenza involved with crimes with the Dillon family and with the Kerr family, with different Italian gangs, overt criminal enterprises. Per them, I don't know these people. I barely know them. They tried to film Mother criminally. These are people associated with policing of online platforms, Facebook, YouTube. The sensibilities of them being used and having been used for crimes, even or associate illusions, identity theft associated with predicate acts with the Trade Center attack, investigators, investigators of investigators, because we have nations that don't even like each other on paper, but they value that because they have been using the ground, the identity of the ground, its value, its relationship to our body of value, fact, treatment, nature, quality, discernment, true. Our treatment of others, true. Actually, by identity, of course. They have they have physical delusions with who thinks that jobs and value towards work the way as told is capable. They can't defend that. Their sensibilities of the only that voice is heard. They're using ad companies. In other words, we have natures of crime with our nation's top legal people at the same time. In other words, and all the way up, because we have victim predators from a semi-ancient. You can't defend these natures of sciences, these natures of value treatments, and what's and at the same time stop what's going to with nature's nature of relationship to itself is going to demonstrate we're in a value nature system that is going to cause negative value nature progressions acts and natures. And see, this did it in a way that it uses a method that keeps that self value. Look at the fact, treatment, nature, slavery, torture, forced words, insensibilities, treatments of things of our founders. Whereas now criminal and citizen's nature is involved here. Nature of theater positive that is not positive. This is in relationship to where now the sciences share an identity. This is why the predicate is in demonstration of identity of value with English simultaneously, while the predicate act is in demonstration simultaneously of the same thing, non distinctly and distinctly, which is identity of relationship to itself. A predicate act is something totally different than a predicate. But it's in demonstration of an act that is simultaneously inherently actively and progressively negative relationship to itself, our nature as value, and a value as nature at the same time by this identity shared onto and as all things at once. So it's as criminal and citizen's nature as the wick of it, as temporary slash lasting positive value nature that is negative, and where positive value nature will only gain. So we are not its value nature system that is also gaining the nature of volume overall, like the rest of nature, with no criminal foreign influences. So gaining its nature of positive that is also positive unto itself. In other words, not only our individual nature, the complete nature is inseparable from all others, even all temporary slash lasting value progressions together. They have forced more and more, not not change, but as the phenomena of what does not change becoming more and more of a nature of volume in it. You have to understand value progression in sequence nature's revelations. While as the value to the while it is as the value to the nature of the order of the finite, our active body of value, fact, treatment, nature, convictions, value, opinion, nature, value, which is premises, treatment, nature, which is quality of fact, treatment, nature, truth, that are all fact offensively predatory to the nature of truth, that is also as true as exception. So we have a quality of logic's course that is nations individually grouped and together offensively predatory against, with physical delusions and with criminal foreign influences, crime methods, maintain self-value, tricks like blaming others for for what they are, by pretending other people have mental illnesses because they have cliques in that are maintained criminally foreign influences way, involved with various natures of courts, forging names, switching names, one-way reports, and then they have the audacity to write. They pretend people complain about what they had actually done and did do before they do, but they do it all wrong. They pretend people can't speak, and they just spread that rumor. And where you're not supposed to speak, in other words, because these are people that are keeping each branch individually grouped and together, not just crimes near their databases, but in the field and their families, because their roles with shared policing by a whole bunch of nations sick, individually grouped together in ways that need to hide that and relate that where and how lie progressions are stayed. Lie progression covered before any nature of sophistication was realized. They were already in collusion. They were already organized crime countering bodies that couldn't counter. They were in collusion with and as couldn't defend itself as only that capable of doing and allow demonstrated because they were what our founders were about, you know, having us demonstrate. George Washington did not chop down fake branches. And I'm not saying that it has anything to do with the cherry tree, even though Connecticut is where he had to come right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War. Even though that's where he had to leave overt slavery, even though that was his locations and families recorded and confessed involved with on off the state judicial branch offices, with fake news crime acts, identity theft crime acts, no roles recorded how facilitated with houses and businesses near the state judicial branch offices too through time, facilitated the crime acts, roles, uses, intercampuses, and of whole areas like the north end of Hartford, where there are a lot of shootings, intercampuses maintained breaching method roles, souls. They pretend they're they're all victim predators. They need the free speech. They need speech to start to stay. We have natures of gun crime roles originally and still interbranch in collusion with overt criminal enterprises, private ones valued only because everyone's victims. Whereas now we have forsaken mass amount of people forsaken a whole bunch of ways. When we can't even admit it. We have quality of fact, cheap nature, everyone's forcing dishonest. We have tactically, criminally foreign influence and delusions wrought sciences, not by accident. This is from off the ground of education. It's value. And then in layers, on off it with methods, keeping the identity together of the branches criminally foreign influence, keeping each age of fact, cheap nature as pseudo positive. Sensibility rolls with that, needs of that, and means to keep that stayed. Your many pray. So people give it up to be to they want to say, oh, family, that's your family. You don't even because they're attaching family members to fake word. They know they have a torture method because they know these are various natures of courts criminally involved at once, with a whole bunch of nations that don't even like each other on paper, but they're involved with criminal uses of the area, all kinds of ways, on off, on off job site locations, on off value of fact treatment natures, values, like especially like unions, especially like the value of the identity of each branch of government as the A and the W there, individually grouped and together. See, there are proofs that we need another nature of statutes that force nature of sensibilities. In other words, they're preventing people from verbally countering gun crime rules, criminal uses of chemicals, criminal uses of policing as such in layers in relationship to integrity where not one nation has integrity together. Not by accident. This is at the end of the whip. Each modern nation self-made to self-value that, rolls with that. At least I'm not part of that forsaken, mass forsaken, specifically to be maintained self-value, specifically to maintain everyone needing, pretending justice needs a target. Justice has the resource of the invisible but still discernible identity inventions work or not relationship to the identity that even a little bit more of itself still has the inseparable identity of relationship to itself as value and demonstration to us, which leads Campus Marcius. So I am autocrator by this. Let means exist. And so who disbelieves? Then we make the system. So we'll have ancientgaming.system.com. It's already set up where Little Rap Guy and friends, they have your office. Maybe we'll make you a better office, but we have draws in the office. We have a place where people can put their own links. And with them, we're going to have a training, but we're also going to have interaction with the city. Each city is going to be taken to a virtual positions, is going to be taken to virtual positions connected to a method that is simultaneously owned by the value of the most forsaken, consciously, as bonded simultaneous natures of release that are bonded self-value. We're going to give our means, our nature's value nature system before, while being the value of these that forced to be defended other as quality of fact treatment nature, as quality of truth treatment nature, as roles with a whole bunch of bonded liars and physical delusions valued offensively against people who need mandated law followed. Again, and roles with uses of types of victims with what is recorded originally and still maintained, effectively maintained, bonded and filtered, standing breaching tool roles, everyone originally and still. Blaming the real causes of negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures on other things others themselves. So Hartford, Connecticut. This is with identity theft racket /S roles, bonded. And we need the species nature of volume, the New York game, because no one believes. New York games, Hartford needs you too. Because I know there's recorded what is the problem in every state and area of each modern nation. What's really causing negative value nature risk? What really, how we have valued even glorified the fact cheating nature identity thefts of our founders. And George Washington, why and how he had to leave overt slavery with color right here in Connecticut. Why and how they separate things like that from their narratives with the witch trials, with the crime method, where if anyone even spoke about things, they would destroy their whole families, like building infrastructure outside of these pathology of homes that they tactically denature relationships to nature pathology, natures of cities as a suburb is, the nature of city as an urban city is. See, these are fact human nature racket roles. These are states of areas as value nature system manifest identity of volumes, identity of relationship to itself, which is an identity of three natures of volume that have one simultaneously distinct because of their own distinction relationship to the what is non-distinctly filling each nature or volume. This has our own. This is why we have this pattern manifest with the cell nucleus, cell body, cell wall. Here, wall. And then how the cell walls are shared, and therefore as body of value discernment, and distinctly and non-distinctly as all things, because in demonstration of this distinctly and non-distinctly of its own course. See, but now this is through and as a value nature system where offensively positive is a criminal insidiousness nature of itself. It is offensively pretending it can't fathom or understand, simple speech. And by doing this, this forces reliance upon natures of experts that are involved with maintained, effectively maintain self-value, identity theft, racket roll, indifference to it. You know, needs to pretend there is integrity to offensive evidence reception to what's written in databases that there is not. There is methodically maintained now effectively. We have any boxing. Okay, thank you. So Anthony Wall, youtube.com/user/Romulus Wall, ancient gaming system. Call you all. Yeah. Little Rap Guy and Friends. See Little Rap Guy and Friends. And let's see, Little Rap Guy and Friends, Scary Place. See Little Rap Guy and Friends, Contacting Master Sky. See Little Rap Guy and Friends, YouTube, Romulus. Thank you.